W8VPV. Repeater. Net.
Good evening, and welcome to Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club's Monday evening transmission of Amateur Radio Newsline. My name is Russ, and my call is KDA-BYT. But for this presentation of Newsline, I will be using the club call Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor. Without further ado, this is Amateur Radio Newsline.
Amateur Radio Newsline Report number 2405 with a release date of Friday, December 1st, 2023. To follow in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The following is a QST. A massive fire ravages Nikola Tesla's last remaining laboratory. Hams in India help track down a child's life-saving but unavailable medicine. And if you believe in Santa, you may just hear him on the air. All this and more as Amateur Radio Newsline Report number 2405 comes your way right now.
From around the world, this is Newsline, Amateur Radio's independent, on-the-air news and bulletin service. And now reporting from Valparaiso, Indiana, here's Paul Brown, WD9GCO.
We begin this week's report with news of a fire that nearly destroyed a historic landmark with a long-standing connection to radio and innovation. Kevin Trotman, N5PRE, has the details.
In New York, a raging fire swept through the last remaining laboratory of Nikola Tesla, where a massive redevelopment began 3 years ago to create a science center and a hub of amateur radio activity and education. Mark Alessi, the nonprofit center's executive director, said at a press conference on November 28th that the authorities have ruled out arson and are still investigating the cause. The historically significant laboratory building itself, set on a 15-acre site on Long Island, sustained damages of at least $3 million from the November 21st fire. A worldwide fundraising effort on Indiegogo has begun for the lab, which the Serbian-born scientist used in the early 1900s. This fundraising is separate from the already $20 million raised for the renovation, an effort that is still $6 million short of its goal. Amateur Radio Club N2 TSC will be housed in the Visitor Center, a different building from the devastated lab. Ed Wilson, N2XDD, the club's president, told Newsline that the Visitor Center was not damaged by the blaze, which drew the response of more than 100 volunteer firefighters from the surrounding community. Plans continue to go forward for the site's overall redevelopment as an educational and community resource, but it's not clear how far back the original opening date of late 2025 will be delayed. I'm Kevin Trotman, N5PRE.
Hams in India raced the clock to help locate and deliver medicine in short supply to a critically ill little girl. John Williams, VK4JJW, tells how they did it.
Working under a critically short deadline and across the borders of several nations, Hams in India were able to locate a medicine that's vital to a 7-year-old girl in neighboring Bangladesh, who was hospitalized for a neurological disorder. The medicine was in her doctor's hands within 48 hours of being found. The girl's parents had been told by doctors at Dhaka Medical College and Hospital that they were in short supply of the antiviral drug that was successfully treating their daughter, and that no stock of the drug could be found elsewhere in the country at present. The girl's father told the Times of India that he promptly launched a search by contacting Rahab Khan, S21DI, an amateur radio operator in Bangladesh. Rahab put out a call to his network of ham contacts in neighboring countries, all to no avail. In India, hams in the West Bengal Radio Club found an alternative of the brand in the state of Kerala, but it was not clear whether the girl would respond to that drug. The necessary brand was at last located in New Delhi by one of the newest members of the club, Nayan Jana, a student of the Indian Academy of Communication and Disaster Management. According to the club secretary, Ambarish Nag Biswas, BU2JFA, the hams then tracked down someone at the New Delhi airport who was preparing to return home to Bangladesh and who agreed to transport the medicine. The girl's father met the passenger at the airport in Dhaka. The girl received the treatment on Friday, November 24th. This is John Williams, VK4JJW.
There is still time to comment on an FCC proposal that would remove the baud rate limitation for the 2200 meter band and the 630 meter band. The agency has said it would like input on what the appropriate bandwidth limitation might be set instead. In making this proposal, the FCC acknowledges previous comments that have been received underscoring public safety benefits for radio communications during emergencies, such as natural disasters. The FCC is also proposing to maintain existing bandwidth limitations on the VHF and UHF bands. This is the latest action by the Commission, which recently established a bandwidth limitation of 2.8 kilohertz for digital transmissions on certain amateur radio HF bands, eliminating the long-standing baud rate limitation on those bands. In other news in Washington, D.C., the FCC has received a document from SpaceX in which the company gives assurances that its cellular Starlink system does not pose a hazard to other radio signals. More on that from CellMB, KB3 TZD.
Responding to an FCC request for details about radio interference hazards posed by its Starlink system, the company has submitted a 16-page document to the agency explaining why ground-based and satellite services will not face interference from its operation. The FCC had requested the detailed analysis. SpaceX said that its direct-to-cell system uses software that prevents radio interference, and in any case, transmissions can also still be individually turned off if it occurs. The Starlink system of satellites has been compared to cellular towers in orbit. T-Mobile is its first partner in the venture and will be using frequencies between 1.91 GHz and 1.995 GHz for customers' transmissions. Questions about interference have been raised before. An Australia-based astronomy team recently published a study that they say links unintended emissions from the SpaceX array of satellites to interference with the low-frequency VHF radio antennas used to study the universe. I'm CellMB, KB3 TZD.
Are you looking out for the International Space Station? NASA has just made it even easier. Andy Morrison, K9AWM, tells us how. If you have the International Space Station in your sight, figuratively of course, because you're hoping for a contact, there's a new option to help you spot the ISS more easily. NASA has released a new version of their Spot the Station mobile application that is downloadable from either Google Play or the Apple Store. If the station is passing overhead, you'll get notified in time to try for the APRS or voice repeater in time. Although NASA is still sending alerts by email and text messages, the new app allows users to see predictions of visible passes. You can also set alarms that allow you to be on time to catch the ISS when it arrives in sight. Visit spotthestation.nasa.gov for more details. This is Andy Morrison, K9AWM. It may be December, but it's not too early to start thinking about July, because that means Youth on the Air Camp. And this year, the young amateurs are headed to Nova Scotia, Canada. Jen Parker, W8ISH, shares the details.
Even though the temperatures are dropping and snow has already fallen in some parts of the world, young radio amateurs in North, Central, and South America are getting ready for warmer days ahead at Youth on the Air Camp. It's taking place July 7th through the 12th at the Mount St. Vincent University campus in Halifax, Nova Scotia. The camp is being hosted by Radio Amateurs of Canada. The application period is now open. Licensed amateurs between the ages of 15 and 25 are being encouraged to complete the application form online by the 15th of January. It can be found on youthontheair.org. Campers will be notified of their selection by the 1st of February. There are allocated slots for applicants in each of the Americas to encourage as wide an attendance as possible. Any remaining free places after the January deadline can still be applied for up until the 31st of May. As many as 50 campers will be accepted. Because COVID is still a concern, organizers will be monitoring changes in guidelines for masking and vaccinations. For details about cost, travel arrangements, and other details, visit the Youth on the Air Camp website or contact Camp Director Neil Rapp at WB9VPG at director@youthontheair.org. This is Jack Parker, W8ISH.
There's still plenty for youngsters to do on the air in the meantime. Starting December 1st, hams around the world who are age 25 and younger will be making Yoda Month by using call signs ending in YOTA, trying to beat last year's final tally of 107,845 QSOs. As the month wraps up, Don't miss the Yoda contest on December 30th. For complete details, visit the website events.ham-yoda.com. Be listening next week when Amateur Radio Newsline announces this year's recipient of the International Newsmaker of the Year Award. We launched this award in 2019 with our editorial staff recognizing the individuals, groups, or formal clubs who have spent the previous year bringing amateur radio into the spotlight, showing its positive values and contributions to the community. We are broadening the award's scope this year by acknowledging that the dissemination of information to the public about amateur radio's impact no longer relies solely on mainstream media. We are very proud of this year's winner, who you will get to meet very soon. It's time for you to identify your station. We are the Amateur Radio Newsline, heard on bulletin stations around the world, including the WB0YLE repeater on Wednesdays at 7 p.m., through All-Star in Morrisville, Pennsylvania, and Fall River, Massachusetts. With the help of a waiver from the FCC, hams in the U.S. will be able to contact military stations in an exercise marking Pearl Harbor Remembrance Day. Ken Peterson, KC0DGY, has that story.
In the United States, hams have been granted an opportunity to mark National Pearl Harbor Remembrance Day by communicating directly with stations of the U.S. military through cross-band operations. The FCC has issued a waiver to permit such radio communications from December 6th through the 9th on the occasion of the 82nd anniversary of the attack on Pearl Harbor during World War II. Legal two-way communications with federal stations is highly unusual for amateur radio. FCC regulations typically permit this on only one other occasion, the annual Armed Forces Day Communications Test. Participating hams will be monitoring 3 federal frequencies, but are to respond on parts of the bands assigned to amateurs. In approving the request from the ARRL, the FCC said the waiver serves an important purpose on a day of great historical significance. The FCC said, quote, "This day has a historic significance and emphasizes the importance of reliable communications and the need to be vigilant in our national defense," end quote. To see a link in the FCC's limited waiver, follow the link in the text version of this week's newscast at arnewsline.org. This is Kent Peterson, KC0DGY.
Christmas time is a time of tradition, and for radio enthusiasts in Sweden, there are a few traditions more loved and anticipated than hearing a Christmas message sent via a transmitter that is fast approaching its 100th year. Jeremy Boot, G4NJH, explains.
The pride of the pioneering Swedish engineer Ernst Alexandersson, his 200 kilowatt high-frequency alternator, built in 1924, has a Christmas message to deliver to the world this year as in previous years. On Christmas Eve morning, Sunday the 24th of December, the radio station in Grimeton with the call sign SAQ will deliver the words "In the Holiday Spirit" in CW at 0800 UTC at 17.2 kilohertz. Those of us who cannot be present can still watch the historic transmitter and hear its message being sent during a live stream on the SAQ Grimeton YouTube channel. The transmitter startup will also be live streamed starting half an hour before the message. There are also many ways to listen, but because there are few radios capable of directly receiving the transmitter's frequency, there are internet receivers and other options available. See the link in the text version of this week's newscast to discover other ways to tune in. This is Jeremy Boot, G4NJH.
Australia's robust universe of community radio stations teaches through a volunteer organization known as Technorama, which provides solid footing in broadcast technology to those working behind the scenes. Technorama is now hoping to expand its historical partnership with amateur radio, and is considered a natural, mutually beneficial relationship, as we hear from Graham Kemp, VK4BB.
Technorama has big plans that don't end when its annual 3-day gathering in Sydney concludes on December 3. The Broadcast Skill Building non-profit organisation is cultivating a partnership between Australia's more than 460 community broadcasting stations and the country's amateur radio operators. Broadcast engineer John Majels, VK2JPM, a Technorama founder and immediate past president, says the unifying elements between the two worlds, such as transmitters, antennas, generators, RF, means that hams of these broadcasters have much to offer one another. There is a history of colonization here that dates back to Community's radio birth in the 1970s, when hams assisted the burgeoning broadcasters, and John believes that relationship will go much further. Technorama is already planning to hold its first formal radio tech training sessions in more than 3 decades, inviting radio amateurs to join the broadcasters to sign up and learn and to be amongst those teaching. He says that community radio stations are, and I quote, just like amateur radio, just on steroids, end quote. Likewise, he said ham radio classes can benefit community broadcasters. He told Newsline in a phone call that it's been a squandered opportunity. He said that building stronger bridges in both directions can fill the needs of both communities. This is Graham Kemp, Victor Kilo 4, Baker Baker.
In the world of DX, fans of the world's longest-running science fiction TV show, Doctor Who, will be listening for special call signs starting with GB0WHO through GB9WHO until the 20th of December. The cult series marked its 60th anniversary on the 23rd of November. The show's original 694 episodes ran steadily until 1989, but it was revived, much to fans' delight, in 2005. See QRZ.com for QSL details. We remind listeners that the Advent Award for Bunkers on the Air in the UK is now underway until the 25th of December. Activators as well as hunters, including shortwave listeners, are eligible. Participants need to use the special Advent Calendar Award claim tracker to be eligible. See the website bunkersontheair.org under the Downloads tab for more details. That's Bunkers on the Air, one word. For our final story, we will look at Santa Claus. Okay, if you're a grown-up, he's not really big news, or news at all, but if you're a youngster or even a grown-up who loves a little holiday magic, you'll be listening for Santa on the Air. Here's Jim Dameron, N8TMW, to help us tune him in.
Like radio waves themselves, Santa Claus is everywhere. While you can't see him, you can definitely hear him or one of his helpers as amateurs around the world return this year with a different kind of on-the-air scheme. Santa on the Air. Hams in the Longmont Amateur Radio Club and the Northern Colorado Amateur Radio Club are giving local kids a chance to visit with Santa through the 10th of December every night between 0000 and 0200 UTC on a number of local repeaters. Lucky kids will be able to log a contact with Mr. and Mrs. Santa. Both Mr. and Mrs. Claus are using the call sign N0P. In Ireland, the Shannon Basin Radio Club is putting Santa on the air on Saturday, December 9th on the EI2 SBC repeater. At this time of the year, the call sign stands for Echo Icicle 2, Santa Before Christmas. Santa is also on the HF band. Check-ins begin on the Santa Net every evening at 7 p.m. Central Time on 3916 kilohertz, ending on Christmas Eve. The net is operated by the 3916 net. Their website, cqsanta.com, has additional information about how to check in before the net gets started. A little closer to the North Pole, OH9FBL has turned its toy workshop into a shack in northern Finland to prepare for QSOs from around the world. All the HF bands are expected to light up like, well, a Christmas tree. As they've done since 1986, local hams will be on the air calling QRZ from Lapland. As always, check the QRZ.com page for any of these call signs to get QSL information and other details. The magic of radio is about to add to the magic of the season. And let's face it, it's all for a good cause. This is Jim Dameron, N8TMW.
If you have a piece of amateur radio news that you think Newsline would be interested in, send it on. Now, we're not talking about advertising your club's upcoming Hamfest or field day participation, but something that's out of the ordinary. If so, send us a brief overview via the contact page at arnewsline.org. If it's newsworthy and we would like to cover it, we'll get back to you for more details. Meanwhile, If you're feeling even a little bit poetic, visit our website to learn more about the Amateur Radio Newsline Haiku Challenge. With thanks to Amateur Radio Daily, the ARRL, CQ Magazine, David Behar K7DB, Ed Wilson W2XDD, the FCC, 425DX News, John Meisels VK2JPM, QRZ.com, PC Magazine, Radio World, shortwaveradio.de, The Statesman, The Times of India, Wireless Institute of Australia, YouTube, Youth on the Air, and you, our listeners. That's all for the Amateur Radio Newsline. We remind our listeners that Amateur Radio Newsline is an all-volunteer, non-profit organization that does incur expenses for continued operation. If you wish to support us, please visit our website at arnewsline.org and know that we appreciate you all. We also remind our listeners that if you like our newscast, please leave us a 5-star rating wherever you subscribe to us. For now, with Karen Eve Murray, KD2GUT at the news desk in New York, and our news team worldwide, I'm Paul Brown, WD9GCO in Valparaiso, Indiana, saying 73. As always, we thank you for listening. Amateur Radio Newsline is copyright 2023. All rights reserved.
This concludes our Monday evening transmission of Amateur Radio Newsline. Net to start in about 9 minutes.
W8VPV. Repeater.
Good evening. Calling all amateur radio operators. Welcome to the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club Monday night VHF UHF net. My name is John and my call is WO3X. However, for the purposes of this net, I'll be using the club call Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor. This is an open directed net. All amateur radio operators are invited and encouraged to check in. You do not have to be a club member. All traffic will go through net control, and since emergency traffic may break in at any time, please leave a brief pause between transmissions. The purpose of this net is to bring together all amateur radio operators for the exchanging of amateur-related ideas and information to enhance net operating practices and to keep members up to date about club happenings. This net meets here every Monday evening at 8:30 p.m. local time, preceded by Amateur Radio Newsline at 8:01. We will start with announcements and then ask for check-ins from any officer or member who has an announcement of general interest to the club. Once that is complete, I'll take check-ins, call signs only, 5 at a time, and confirming each call. Then I'll correspond with those 5 check-ins and ask for 5 more until we're done. Or when it starts to taper off, we'll just take 1 at a time. If you're a regular participant, I'll probably recognize you by call sign. If not, please give your call repeated phonetically, followed by your name and your location. When all check-ins have been worked, I will close the net after repeating the announcements and then one last call for check-ins. We also operate a band exploration net at 9:30 p.m. after this net. Please join us if you have the privileges and equipment. This evening, the band exploration net will be on 6 meters on 50.270 megahertz upper sideband. Everybody has the privileges, but everybody may not have the equipment. Okay, so on the announcements. This Wednesday, that's December 6th, is the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club Christmas dinner, and it will be at the New Era Cafe, 10 Maslin Road in Akron. There's a link to sign up for that so that we can have an approximate number of the participants so that the restaurant can provide enough service. I'm not sure how long that will be available, how long that link will be available, but it looks like it's still available now. So there are currently 30 participants, and so go on there at your first opportunity if you're going to attend and you haven't responded to that link. On January 14th starts a general license class. It's online and anybody in the world can participate in it. It's free, and go to www.cfarc.org, click on education, the word education, and the page will come up, and it has let me look at it here. It has a course information link. It says course information, click here, and then course registration, click here. So it's very easy to sign up for that. Please pass this information on to anybody that you think would be interested in getting their general license. Before that, on Wednesday, January 10th, is the first meeting of the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club for 2024, and we will be at the Pilgrim United Church of Christ in Cuyahoga Falls. That address is 130 Broad Boulevard. You get to the parking lot by going on 2nd Street, and it is south of Broad Boulevard on 2nd Street. The meeting starts at 7:30 p.m. and it will also be on Zoom. That's all that I have in a way of announcements. Are there any officers or members who have an announcement of general interest to the club? This is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor. Okay, nothing heard. So this is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor with John WO3X at the mic, asking for 5 check-ins. Let me acknowledge each one at a time. Okay, there was a pile up there, and I didn't get any of them. Try it again.
Alpha Charlie 8 X-Ray Oscar.
Alpha Charlie 8 X-Ray Oscar. Go ahead, Vince.
I don't have a whole hell of a lot, except because you guys moved up the meeting 1 week, meaning that's the Christmas party, the newsletter will not appear until next weekend. But that's just because of the way I have my thing all scheduled out. So I hope nobody's waiting for the newsletter to appear, but if they are, it'll be next weekend. Other than that, we've been doing Christmas stuff and busy with all that, so it's like one thing after another, as they say. Alpha Charlie 8 X-Ray Oscar, back to net.
Okay, Vince. Very good. That's special news about the newsletter. So thanks for that, and we'll hear you next time on the net. Okay. Now there was somebody else in there too. Okay, I guess not. This is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor asking for check-ins.
KE8KVI.
KE8KVI, are you in or in and out, Ron?
Oh, I'm in.
Okay, and thanks, Ron. We'll get back with you in a moment. Another check-in, please.
PU.
K8PU, I have you, Larry. We'll get back with you in a minute here or so. Another check-in, please.
W8DIS.
W8DIS. Bill, we'll get back with you in a moment. Another check-in, please.
W8EZT.
W8EZT, I have you on the list, Frank. And one more.
K8ZT.
K8ZT, Anthony. Okay, we'll get back with you in a moment here. Okay, so let's go up to Ron, KE8KVI. Go ahead, Ron, with your comments.
Good evening, John, and everybody out there in Radio Land. Been a busy day for me. Worked on technical issues with a printer for a while. Did not resolve them. Still working on that one. And then things took a sudden turn for the worse because I started Christmas shopping. I'm a man. I normally never start Christmas shopping before the 20th. This is really uncomfortable for me.
Okay, Ron. Well, hopefully you'll get over that traumatic experience there going Christmas shopping this early. This far in advance. So 73, and have a good evening. Okay, next was Larry, K8PU. Go ahead, Larry, with your comments.
John, everybody on the net. Enjoying this weather. For December, we're doing pretty good. I'm not going to be able to make the dinner, but with that many people, 30 showing up, that sounds good. Good turnout. Glad it's going to be a success. And beyond that, no exciting news. I'll catch you over on 6 meters, 9:30, John, and so back to you. W8VPV K8PU.
Okay, Larry, very good. we'll listen for you over there on 6 meters. Okay, so next is Bill, WADIS. Go ahead, Bill, with your comments. This is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor.
Hello, everybody. Great to be back on the air. October and November have been pretty hectic for our family. A lot of medical trips and stuff. In fact, I'm afraid I won't make the Christmas dinner because my wife has a procedure that day down at the hospital, so just more of the same. Did have a great Thanksgiving with the family, though. I was happy that we managed to get through that okay. Hopefully I'll get back active with the club next year, January, and see how it goes from there. But just glad to be able to be out on the air after being AWOL for so long. So this is WADIS, back to net.
Okay, Bill, very good. Good to hear you. So have a good evening, and 73 to you. Okay, next is Frank, W8EZT. Go ahead, Frank, with your comments, and I have a question.
Good evening, John, everybody out there. Frank, W8EZT here. Don't have a whole lot to add. Unfortunately, was laid up for Thanksgiving, and so I'm looking forward to seeing some of my family for Christmas. Not everybody's going to be able to make it because of work schedules, and several are out of state, but so be it. It is what it is. Don't have a lot to add. Looking forward to seeing a lot of people at the Christmas party Wednesday. As a matter of fact, last I heard we were up near 30 people, so this should be a good turnout and a good chance just to get together and socialize and maybe see those people you only see once or twice a year. Maybe check in. Rumor has it Santa's going to be by with a couple of prizes, so we'll have to see how that works out. But, and again, looking forward to seeing everybody there. Beyond that, not a lot to hear. We'll hand it back to you, John. I do need someone to do my net day. It's the 25th. That's Christmas Day. And I will be sharing it with my family. As I say, I miss Thanksgiving, so if somebody else would like to trade with me or could fill in on the 25th, I sure would appreciate it. All right, that's all I've got. Back to net, W8EZT.
Yeah, okay, Frank. Let's see, I have a question. Do we want to cancel the nets for Christmas Day and New Year's Day?
I would have no problem. I could probably do it New Year's night or evening, but Christmas Day, it's up to the rest of the club. If we don't do it, I guess if nobody's there, it's canceled. If somebody would like to step up and do it, I'll try to check in, and I'm not sure where my family is going to be doing it, whether it'll be in Medina with one sister or down in New Franklin with another. But I guess the key is if somebody's willing to do it, we'll do it, and if nobody is, we'll cancel it. That's all I've got, John. Go ahead. Back to you, W8EZT.
Okay, yeah, I was asking because Aries is not going to have their Monday evening net on the 25th and January 1st. So I was just thinking maybe we could do the same thing. But that's okay. Brian and I are going to have the Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve net on 6 meters anyhow. So if nobody steps up for the 25th, December 25th nets, then I'll be able to do them. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, thanks. And there was some scratchiness when you first started to talk there. Do you hear the same thing when I'm talking? Over?
Not right now, but I've heard it off and on. I've heard it during Newsline. I believe that antenna needs replacement, possibly a coax line also. That type of popping and noise that I've heard is indicative of a connection that's maybe arcing over and producing RF on the input. So that'll be one of our first things next spring, is to try to get that resolved.
Okay, very good. Thanks. So have a good evening, and maybe will we hear you on 6 meters on 50.270 megahertz upper sideband?
Yes, I have a gap titan. While it's not rated for that, it seems to do a very good job up there. So yeah, you should hear me up there tonight. Well, we'll catch you later. WADCT, back to net.
Okay, very good, Frank. So 73, and we'll hear you later, hopefully. Okay, so next is Anthony, K8ZT. Go ahead, Anthony, with your comments. This is Whiskey 8 Victor, Papa Victor.
Good evening, everyone. This last weekend I was playing a little bit of 160 CW for the ARRL contest. This coming weekend, though, is the 10-meter contest. It starts Friday evening at 7 p.m. and goes until 7 p.m. on Sunday. Now, anyone with a license, technician class or higher, is eligible to operate 10 meters in the right portions of the band. So if you're interested, it's both a single sideband voice contest and a CW contest. You can choose to operate one or the other or both. Complete details are available at the ARRL website, aarrl.org. And if you have any questions about the contest or need any help with setting up logs for it, please give me a call or drop me an email. I'd be happy to help out. But this is a great chance to try some 10 meters while the sunspot numbers are up. This is KCT. See everyone on Wednesday night.
Okay, Anthony, very good. Yeah, 10-meter contest, CW and sideband there. Okay, very good. So we'll see you at the Christmas dinner there on Wednesday. So that takes us to the bottom of the list. So this is Whiskey 8 Victor, Papa Victor, with John, WO3X, at the mic, asking for check-ins.
Number 8, Alpha Charlie Papa, N8 ACP, Chris, Cadillac Hill, Akron.
Hey, Chris, N8 ACP, I have you. We'll get back with you in a moment. Another check-in, please.
November 8th, Bravo Alpha Yankee, Ralph in Stowe, in and out.
N8BAY, I have you in and out. Thanks for checking in, 73, and have a good evening. Another check-in, please.
Tango, Quebec Romeo, Keith and Uniontown, KE8TQR.
Okay, I got both you there, KE8TQR. And Bill, KA8WTK. Another check-in, please.
Kilo Echo 8, Whiskey Golf Delta, Greg, Cuyahoga Falls, in and out.
Okay, Greg, I have you in and out. Thanks for checking in. 73, and have a good evening. Another check-in, please. Okay, I don't hear any at this time, so we'll go up to Chris. N8ACP, go ahead, Chris, with your comments.
Good evening there, John, and all on the net. Always nice to hear the Katanning accent from that part of Pennsylvania. I do like it. Let's see, just continuing to move the shop. The QTH has moved, and the station is up and running as I'm talking on it right now. And apparently on HF it's working because, let's see, I've picked up, I think, 8 new contacts, entities, and North Cook Islands, since I've been here, North Cook Islands, African Italy, Botswana, Cameroon, Timor-Leste, Greenland, which I've been trying to get for a long time, probably 2 years, Solomon Islands, and the Wallis and Futuna Islands. And some of those were on 10 meters, so to Anthony's point there, this coming contest on 10 meters, the bands are in really good shape as long as we don't have another giant solar event. Should be some great contacts this coming weekend on 10 meters. So, and like Anthony said, if you've got a license here in the United States, you have privileges on phone and, of course, on CW as well. That's all the news from me. 73 to all from November 8 Alpha Charlie Papa. Back to Ned.
Yeah, very good, Chris. Yeah, that contest sounds really interesting. Yeah, and the Katanning accent, I think that goes pretty far east, but I think it doesn't go much north above Interstate 80. But I'm from the southwestern area of Pennsylvania, around Pittsburgh. There, I grew up like 3 miles from Pittsburgh, and then lived for 30 years south of, about 6 miles straight line south of Pittsburgh, and that accent is all over that whole area there. So very good. Thanks for acknowledging that, and I think I'll try that contest there. Okay, let's see. So N8BAY was in and out, so that takes us to Bill, KA8WTK. Go ahead, Bill, with your comments.
W8VPV, KA8WTK. This is Bill in Talmadge. Good to hear you tonight, John. Everybody sounds really good. Not much going on here. A lot of Christmas decorating. Actually started the 1st of November. We had about a week off around Thanksgiving because we weren't here. But we've been back at it since then, and the house is almost done, getting really close. My wife really goes all out for Christmas. She loves doing the decorating, and I enjoy it when it's all done, and you can sit back and just enjoy the different decorations and the colored lights and everything. So, looking forward to it. Back to that, W8VPV, KA8WTK.
Yeah, Bill, that is a lot of fun there, and I enjoy it too. So thanks for checking in, 73, and have a good evening. Maybe we'll hear you on 6 meters. Okay, next is Keith, KE8TQR. Go ahead, Keith, with your comments.
W8VPV, good evening, John, and everyone else here on the net tonight. This is KE8TQR. Good to hear everyone tonight. Hope everyone had a great day on getting ready for these holidays. Yeah, there's a lot of Christmas decorations out there. We don't put them up here at the house. I like to look at everybody else's. They can do all the work and I'll enjoy their colored lights. Anyway, still working on my tower project. The grounding isn't finished yet, but the weather has been the reason for that. At least that's what I'm saying it was, but it could have been me. Anyway, I did add 2 more sections of tower, so now I have 3 sections of tower assembled. It's in a horizontal position right now on a sawhorse, but because hopefully this week I am going to put on my Comet GP15, the tri-bander for 6 meter, 2 meter, and 70 centimeter. The mast pole is connected to the one section of tower with some screw clamps, and that gives me an extra 5.5 feet, so the antenna will be about 35 feet in the air. And hopefully this weekend, if the weather holds, cross my fingers, and the couple guys and I are going to try to get that 30-foot tower in the vertical position. That's going to take a little bit of work and some rigging, so we'll have to get that up there. But I should have some 6-meter capability this winter. I'm not sure what all I can do on that, but we're going to give it a good hard try. Anyway, I just wanted to say hello to everyone. Have a great rest of the week, and I'll send this back to you, John, at Net Control. KE8TQR saying 73, everyone.
Okay, Keith, 73, and yeah, I heard you on the Aries net there. this evening also. So good luck getting that tower up with your GP15 on it. So 73, and have a good evening. Okay, that takes us, KEAWGD Greg was in and out, so that takes us to the bottom of the list. This is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor with John WO3X at the mic asking for check-ins.
WA3JAT.
WA3JAT, I have you. Another check-in, please.
N8ALQ.
N8ALQ, I have you on the list, Walt. We'll get back with you in a moment. Another check-in, please. Okay, not hearing any. Let's go up to Jim, WA3JAT. Go ahead, Jim, with your comments.
W8VPV, WA3JAT. Good evening, John, and everyone on the net. Not a whole lot of comments. Was out deer hunting last week. Wasn't successful in getting a deer, but was successful in coming home safe and sound, which I guess is the number one thing. Hope to see everybody Wednesday at the Christmas party. Back to you, John, W8VPV, WA3JAT.
Yeah, good. You got home safe. My nephew in Pennsylvania, Western Pennsylvania, went deer hunting and didn't get any the first time. And when he got home that first time, there were 4 deer in his yard. But it's not a dense residential area, but still he's not allowed to hunt there. But then he went out recently again, and he was successful in getting one. So and he too made it home safely. Okay, very good, Jim. Maybe we'll hear you on 6 meters. Okay, next is Walt, N8ALQ. Go ahead, Walt, with your comments, and it's good to hear you.
Well, thank you, John. It's good to hear you, too. We are kind of getting ready for Christmas. The wife has done a whole lot of work getting the house looking great, and we have just a very small little outside thing. And we've actually today started our first Christmas shopping. Actually went out to the stores and bought something. So we are started, and hopefully we will finish before Christmas gets here. So we'll say 73 to everybody. Enjoy the great week, and hopefully I'll catch you again next week. This is N8ALQ back to net.
Okay, Walt, very good. Yeah, Ron, KE8KVI, said that he started his Christmas shopping, which is extremely early for compared to his regular schedule. So sounds like you're doing pretty good there on that, getting ready for the holiday there. So yeah, I got some lights in the windows, but I didn't get the outside lights up yet. I'll be doing that. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow. So thanks for checking in there, Walt, 73, and have a good evening. Okay, that takes us to the bottom of the list. This is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor asking for check-ins. Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor asking for check-ins.
W8KL trying to check in here, I think.
W8KL. Go ahead, Ken. We'll just go one at a time now.
John and the net W8KL. I just got done working this 9L5 mic in Sierra Leone, if that's how you say it. I was chasing him for over an hour on FT8 on 30 meters. VK9, there's a VK9 in, where the heck is he? in the VK9CY in Cocos Keeling. I had to think of it. He was on 20, but for some reason, he was on 20 FT8. For some reason, I couldn't get him because I have, all of a sudden, a very high noise level. Somebody's doing something in the neighborhood with one of these, what they call a wall wart or some such. Maybe they're Christmas lights or something. But I did get him on 40, VK9CY Cocos Keeling. I was able to bag him on 40, and I was very happy about that. There's several DXpeditions that are running around at this time. If anybody cares to, look those up, it would be on the announced DXpedition list. Be on the announced DXpeditions, W8KL. Anyway, there's a lot of that kind of stuff going on, and hope everybody's well. I got my Christmas lights up. I sent pictures to Jim. Also, I got my Christmas lights up 2-3 weeks ago. It took me a whole week to do it because I do all kinds of stuff in the yard and the house. But the other day, talking about deer, I think I sent this picture to Jim. 3 of them came right up to my doorway in near Galt Park. 3 of them came right up. My outside camera took the picture, and I have that if anybody's interested in a picture of 3 deer standing at my door. W8KL. Back to you, John.
Yeah, very good, Ken. Last week on my evening walk, there were 4 deer in Jim's front yard. I don't know if he knew that, but they were right there, strolling around. I told him that there's nothing much but some grass to munch on, and they were just strolling around real slow, looking for some goodies, but apparently they didn't find any. So that's the closest to our neighborhood that I've seen them since we've been living here. Usually they stay south of Broad Boulevard, but they've been moving up north here a little ways here. So we'll have to see. So thanks for checking in there, Ken, and you're doing great on those DX contacts there. So 73, and have a good evening. Okay, this is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor asking for check-ins. K8HMS. I got you, Steve. Another check-in, please.
WA8RCN, Jim, Northampton Township, Cuyahoga Falls.
WA8RCN. Good to hear you. Another check-in, please. Okay, not hearing any. We'll go to Steve. K8HMS. You were kind of scratchy there, but the repeater's been a little scratchy on its own. So go ahead. Let's hear how you sound there. Go ahead.
Okay, John. K8HMS. I am on the 440 side, so how you got a copy on me?
Well, where you're standing right now, I have a good enough copy on you. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah, because I don't know, last time I did
then it dropped out, and then I thought I heard you mention Wetmore Road. I don't know if you're on a handheld and you moved or what, but we didn't get much more than that. Over. No, you didn't come through that time. Let's see, we'll be on 6 meters on 50.270 megahertz at 9:30, upper sideband. So maybe you could check in then. So we'll let you go at this time, and hope to hear you on 6 meters. Okay, so next is Jim, WA3RCN. Go ahead, Jim, with your comments.
I'm on 2 meters now.
Oh, hold up, Jim. Go ahead, Steve. You're on 2 meters. Go ahead.
You got any better copy now?
I do right now. Go ahead.
Okay, real quick. Good evening to you. Good evening, everybody. And just good to hear Jim, WRCN, on. Haven't talked to him for a while, but hopefully he got his antennas going and stuff. It's been a while. I know he just moved to his new location, so hopefully he can help us on field day one day. Anyway, back to you, KHMS.
Okay, Steve. Yeah, we got all that. Yeah, very good. And will you be able to check in on 6 meters?
Affirmative.
Okay, Steve, we'll listen for you. Okay, very good. So we'll go to Jim, WA8RCN. Go ahead, Jim, with your comments.
Yeah, WAVPV and the net W8RCN, the old Northampton Township, now part of Cuyahoga Falls, I guess. Yeah, anyway, yeah, I thought Steve was maybe saying something to me because Haas Road runs into Wetmore there, and yeah, we kind of stopped the antenna project because of weather and supply chain issues. It kind of got to be one thing after another. You know, I got the tower up. I got a 60-foot tower in the back and a 16-foot mast that go up there, and we got all the antennas reconditioned, ready to go, and then we had holdups with coax cable and a few other things, and what we ended up doing was just pulling the plug because too much going on for winter coming up, getting everything winterized around the house here, and we just got all the antennas. I got a 2-meter beam, a 6-meter beam, an X7, and a 2-element 40, and you know, it's all going up on top of that 60-foot tower with a 16-foot mast. So we're going to have to resume that all in the springtime, and I'm kind of glad we did because you couldn't waterproof and tape everything with the cold weather out, and then the cables got delayed, and that just put the kibosh on the whole thing. So I just went, oh well, you know, we'll just pick it up in the spring. So let me take a break here. Yeah, we'll do that, and yeah, talk about deer hunting. We got them all the time. That and coyotes. They wake you up so in the middle of the night sometimes. They're in the backyard howling so much. We're about a mile east of Blossom here on 4 acres, and you know, I just hunt them in the backyard with the bow, and I usually do my part and get limit out and get my fair share. So they're all over the place here too. So anyway, that's kind of what's going on. I haven't been in here for a long time, and yeah, we plan on coming to field day. I was talking to Anthony about that too, and what Anthony said about 10 meters, guys, get on there. I'm just running a couple wire antennas temporarily, and I'm working the world on 10 meters. So, you know, when the band's open, it's open. Have fun. W8VPV, John, back to you, and the net W8RCN.
Yeah, Jim, did you get a new balun for your X7?
Yeah, I was going to call you and talk to you about that. I haven't. Just real quick, they didn't have any. They would have had to make one. It would have been 2 to 3 weeks. And I said, you know, that looked like pretty skimpy, puny balun. So I talked to what's his name, K6KL or something out there, Palomar, guy that owns Palomar out there, and I got one of his. And I talked to him and a couple guys at DXE, and they I talked to you, I checked mine, and mine was all split in about 10 pieces too. It worked, and they said the only thing that's going to do that is a lightning hit. So there you go, John.
Okay, yeah. Well, I'm not going to sell that now, and I'm going to use that X7 because the TA34XL didn't have all the parts. So my wife and I took a ride up to Michigan where the guy was, and I took back what I had, what he had given me. He gave me my money back, and then we went and did a geocaching tour up there. So it all worked out real nice. So very good. So glad you got your Balun there, and I have mine. My new one. I got mine at DX Engineering, when they still had them. So thanks for checking in, 73, and have a good evening. Okay, that takes us to the bottom of the list here. So this is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor asking for check-ins.
This is Kilo Echo 8 Papa Whiskey Tango. James, Cuyahoga Falls, in and out tonight.
Okay, KE8 PWT, we have you in and out. Thanks for checking in, 73, and have a good evening. This is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor asking for check-ins.
Hello, John. This is Kilo 8 Bravo India K8BI Bill in Cuyahoga Falls. Please check me in and out.
K8BI, oh, good to hear you there, Bill. Thanks for checking in. I have you in and out. 73, and have a good evening. Okay, let's see. This is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor asking for check-ins.
Check, KE8 KVI.
KE8 KVI, Ron, let's see, we already have you checked in.
Recheck, I just wanted to make a comment about the Christmas Day. I heard Frank say something about not being able to do it, and I realized that I'm going to be away. I'm going to be up at my daughter's, so I won't be anywhere around to do it, so we may want to consider canceling it. Might be something worth bringing up at the dinner.
Yeah, we'll see. I'll be around here, and it's on 80 meters. This VHF UHF net here is as it is this evening, but the band expiration net's on 80 meters. I could do them. I'm not going to be going anywhere that day, so we'll see. Yeah, we can talk about it at the dinner. That's a good idea there, Ron. Over.
Just thought I'd bring it up as a suggestion because I honestly don't know how many people are going to be available to check in on Christmas Day.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it might be a really short net. So we can talk about that then. That's a good idea there. Thanks, Ron. Okay, so this is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor at the bottom of the list. Are there any more check-ins for the VHF UHF net? This is John, WO3X at the mic.
KE8 ULC, Kurt, Cuyahoga Falls.
KE8, was that ULT? Over.
KE8 ULC.
QLT?
ULC.
Okay, I had it right the first time. Okay, what's going on over there?
Nothing, first time checking in.
Okay, let's see. Are you new to the area here?
No, just new to the license about a year ago.
And you say your call is KE8ULT?
No, C is in Kurt, ULC.
Oh, okay. Okay, that explains that. Okay, yeah, very good. Let's see, so good to hear you check in here. Do you have 6-meter capability?
No.
Oh, okay. Okay, very good. Yeah, I walked past your place. I just looked you up in QRZ, and one of my walking routes goes right past your place. So, very good. Thanks for checking in, and welcome to the net here. This net meets here every Monday evening at 8:30 p.m. On this frequency, and also we have UHF, which I'm not sure if you're on 2 meters or the 440 band. And then after this, we have a band exploration net that each week it's on a different frequency. So tonight it's on 6 meters, but next week it's on 10 meters. Do you have 10-meter capability?
Not yet.
Okay. Okay, very good. So thanks for checking in, 73, and have a good evening. Okay, very good. Yeah, thanks, Kurt. And hopefully you're having fun with the radio license and so forth. Okay, so this is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor with John WO3X at the mic asking for check-ins. Okay, not hearing any. I'll repeat the announcements, and then I'll give one last call for check-ins. Let's see. Okay, so this Wednesday, that's the day after tomorrow, is our Christmas dinner. Go to www.cfarc.org, and if you haven't signed up yet, click on that link. It's right at the top there, so that we can have an idea of how many are going to attend, so that we can inform the restaurant. There are 30 signed up right now, so that's a pretty good quantity. So we want to make sure they have an idea of how many are attending. And then on, let's see, in January then, there are no more meetings in December. The Christmas dinner is the last gathering. Okay, then on January 14th starts the general license class. It's on Zoom, and there's a link on our website that gives a description. So you go to www.cfarc, click on education, and then there are 2 links there. One is for the description, and the other one is to sign up, and it's free for anybody in the world. It runs for 6 Sundays, so take a look at that and see what interest you have in getting your general license. January 10th will be the first meeting of the year for the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club, and we meet at the Pilgrim United Church of Christ in Cuyahoga Falls in person at 7:30 p.m., and you get to the parking lot by being on 2nd Street south of Broad Boulevard. And it's also on Zoom. So, again, that's January 10th, 7:30 p.m. Just go to our website, www.cfarc.org. On the right side of the main page is a list of, it's like a calendar, but it's just a list. And the Zoom link is in there for the meeting.
Check John, W8ECT.
Yeah, go ahead, Frank.
I just wanted to add that we have informally been talking about not reorienting, but aligning the meetings a little bit differently next year. And at least for the first part of the year, I think we're going to be doing a little bit more with antennas. A couple of demonstrations, maybe even how to use a nano VNA, and of course how to use an antenna analyzer, and a couple of build sessions, perhaps an NFIN antenna, maybe a direction finding antenna, maybe a cubic quad, something like that. So if any members out there are interested in some aspect of antennas, they want to build something, they want to learn about something, please have them reach out to one of the officers of the club and let us know, and we will definitely include your ideas and thoughts and desires in the plans for meetings. All right, that's all I got, John. Back to you, W8EZT.
Yeah, okay, Frank. Yeah, very good. Yeah, we're going to be doing more hands-on stuff this coming year rather than we're going to minimize the length of business discussion. So that's how we're going to have our meetings next year. Thanks for pointing that out, Frank. Okay, so let's see. That's all that I have in the way of announcements. So this is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor, last call for check-ins. Okay, not hearing any more check-ins. In preparing to close this net, I would like to thank all of you who took the time to join us and check in tonight. Without your participation, there would be no net. This has been John, and my call is W03X, and it's been my pleasure to host this evening's net. At this time, I will close the net with 20 check-ins, counting myself, and return the repeater to normal, customary amateur radio use. This is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor, closing the net at 9:25 p.m. local time. 7-3.
Active.
Was that somebody checking in?
I think that was the repeater announcing it just disconnected the two repeaters from each other. It usually occurs around 9:25. W8ECT.
Okay, thanks, Frank. Yeah, I just heard a syllable there at the end. Okay, thanks. And the 6-meter net starts up real soon here. This is W03X. I'm clear.
KDGW Whiskey and Victor Mike, we appreciate you being with us, Dan. Yeah, we got to do that eyeball Q's over the very first time at the Norris Fest in the fall. That was really good to meet you for the first time. Always good to hear voices and then see the people behind those voices. So yeah, we had 5. We ran our session this Saturday, and we had 5 people came in. 3 tested for tech and got it, and 2 tested for extra and got those as well. So it was very successful. Lane said they had 2. They had a tech and a general, and both of them passed as well. for last month for theirs. So very, very good in the amateur radio front. All right, West Park Radio Ops Club would like to again thank the Northern Ohio DX Association for the use of their repeater for our net. West Park Radio Ops Clubs meet on this frequency 147.360 MHz PL 107.2. Every Monday night at 8 p.m., all amateur radio licensed individuals are always welcome to check into this net. Hope to hear you all next Monday. Our club would like to thank everyone who participated in tonight's net. And as I always say, I love amateur radio, this club, and the people who check in and make these nets great. Thank you all. We are now turning this repeater back to its regular operation. November 8, Whiskey Bravo and Whiskey 8, Victor Mike are both going to be clear, but Merry Christmas to everyone, and everyone have a very happy New Year if I don't talk to you. Everyone, both November 8, Whiskey Bravo and Whiskey 8, Victor Mike are clear. 73, my friend. See you at the Norris luncheon tomorrow.
Good evening. Calling all amateur radio operators. Welcome to the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club Monday evening band exploration net. My name is John and my call is WO3X. However, for the purposes of this net, I'll be using a club call Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor. This is an open directed net. All amateur radio operators are invited and encouraged to check in. You do not have to be a club member. All traffic will go through net control, and since emergency traffic may break in at any time, please leave a brief pause between transmissions. The purpose of this net is to bring together all amateur radio operators for the exchanging of amateur-related ideas and information to enhance net operating practices and to keep members up to date about club happenings. This band exploration net meets every Monday evening at 9:30 p.m. local time. Check the calendar for the frequency that this net will be on a particular Monday. And it is preceded by the VHF UHF net at 8:30 and amateur radio Newsline at 8:01. When checking in, please give your call repeated phonetically, followed by your name and your location. Also, let me know if you have any comments or traffic for the net, or if you're checking in and out. I will start with announcements and then call for officers or members who have items of further interest. When all have checked in, I will repeat the announcements. After that, I'll give one last call for check-ins and then close the net. Here are the announcements. December 6th, that's this Wednesday, is our Christmas dinner. There's a link on our website, www.cfarc.org, to register if you are going to attend and how many will be attending total in your group. We would like to have a rough idea of how many, so that we can inform the restaurant of how many, so that they can provide enough servers. And it will be at the New Era Cafe, 10 Maslin Road in Akron. We'll start gathering around 6 o'clock, and then around 6:30 p.m. we'll start ordering from the menu. So, like I said, click on that link and to let us know. Okay, let's see what else we have here. Okay, now, if you know anybody that has their technician license and they would like to get their general license, on January 14th is the first class. It goes for 6 Sundays, and you can, anybody in the world can join in. There's no fee, and like I said, it's online. Go to www.cfarc.org and go to the click on education, and on the left side it says club classes, and so there's a link for course information, and then there's a link for course registration. So take a look at that, and that will have the address to the link to sign up when you go, if you're interested in that. Again, that starts January 14th, 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time, and goes for 6 Sundays. Then January 10th is our first meeting, and it will be at the Pilgrim United Church of Christ in Cuyahoga Falls. You get to the parking lot by being south of Broad Boulevard on 2nd Street. That meeting starts in person at 7:30, and it also starts on Zoom at 7:30. So go to www.cfarc.org. On the right side of that front page is a list of events and so forth, and so the Zoom link is on that list. Our meetings this year will be more practical applications. So we're going to minimize the amount of time that we're doing business, and so there'll be more like activity meetings, and we're going to see what interest there is in trying with antennas. we may have little projects and also learn how to use an antenna analyzer and one of those VNAs, a little miniature spectrum analyzer, and so forth. So that's how our meetings are. We're going to plan to go in the year 2024. Okay, let's see, that's all that I have in the way of announcements. So this is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor with John WO3X at the mic asking, are there any members or officers who have items of special interest? Okay, not hearing any. This is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor asking for check-ins.
WA3JAT.
WA3JAT, I have you. Is there another check-in? K8HMS, I have you, Steve. Another one, please.
WA8RCN.
WA8RCN, I have you. Another check-in, please.
K8PU.
K8PU, I have you. And one more.
KA8WTK.
KA8WTK, I have you, Bill. Okay, let's go up to the top there. Jim, WA3JAT, go ahead.
Yeah, very good, John, and everyone on here. Nothing new since the 2-meter net, but look forward to see many of you on Wednesday. W8VPV, WA3JAT.
Okay, Jim, very good. And of course, I have a good copy on you there. I have the preamp on, but even with that off, you're still 60/9. Okay, thanks for checking in, 73, and have a good evening. Okay, next is Steve, K8HMS. Go ahead.
Okay, very good, John. Yeah, WAVPV and then K8HMS. I didn't switch over to my 6-meter dipole. I just stuck on my long wire here. But, yeah, nothing much changed since the 2-meter net. Like I say, glad to hear Jim in there. And, yeah, just wondered how he got permission to put up all the antennas where he lives there. I'm familiar with the development where he is, and yeah, it's great. He can get some antennas up there. So, other than that, yeah, guess that's about it. I'll see you guys on Wednesday night, and hoping for a good turnout and eating some chicken paprikash. So, yeah, I did a little playing around with a 160-meter contest over the weekend with my big long 60-foot long wire. So, yeah, other than that, not much happening. So back to you there, John, K8HMS.
Okay, Steve. Yeah, you're good at the CW still, so that was probably a lot of fun for you there, 160 meters on CW. Okay, so we'll see you Wednesday, Steve. Thanks for checking in, 73, and have a good evening. Okay, next is Jim, WA8RCN. Go ahead, Jim, with your comments.
Okay, hi, John and everybody, WAVPV, W8RCN, and hope everybody can hear me. I mean, it's as good as it gets. I got a dipole in a tree between 2 pine trees in the backyard of 20 feet, so I'll run that 6-meter so I get the big thing up. But, yeah, I don't have much more than what I said before, but, yes, Steve, you're like S9 now. Well, I couldn't hear you too good on 2 meters, but when you switched to 2-meter antenna, you were pretty good, but now you're like really strong. But you're just down to 3 from me too, I guess. But, well, how I ended up doing, I'm going like 75 feet here in the Cuyahoga Falls. You only can go 50, but then I had to go to the zoning board and hearings and variances and have hearings, and then I had to get with Summit County engineering guys and do all kind of inspections. And, let me tell you, it wasn't easy. But long story short is, if you follow the red tape and everybody got their $100, they were happy, and they come out and look and just say, okay, so it was a lot of red tape and a few $100 here and there to get the zoning and variance and all the inspections from the Summit County engineering, because Cuyahoga Falls City don't do them anymore, I guess. Anyway, I kind of follow the protocol and the red tape and pay the bucks. Do what I wanted to do, so we're going up probably 75 surgeries. So anyway, that's the boost. All right, W8VPV, W8RCN.
Yeah, okay, Jim. Yeah, I think Cuyahoga Falls got out of that about 10 years ago, and it went over to Summit County. So that's how that goes now. So. Thanks for checking in, and it sounds like you made good progress on that setup there. So, 73, and have a good evening. Okay, that takes us to Larry, K8PU. Go ahead, Larry, with your comments.
Good evening, John. Everybody on the net. Oh, not much in the way of comments. Found one of my Christmas laser lights went out, so I'm trying to replace power supply on it, and looks like we're going to have to buy a new light because I don't have anything that heavy and 5 volt. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I can't make the Christmas dinner, so I'm glad there's a good turnout for it. Once the 30 folks showing up, that's great. And I wish I could make it, but I just got another situation, another commitment, I guess I'll say right now. So, catch everybody next year's Christmas dinner. Okay, back to you, John. I say everybody stay safe, keep warm, and catch y'all on the net next week. Back to you, W8VPV, KPU.
Okay, Larry, very good. This band exploration net will be on 10 meters next week, so hope to hear you then. And I'll probably see you at the first meeting in January, on January 10th. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, so have a good evening there, Larry. Okay, let's see. So that takes us to Bill, KA8WTK. Go ahead, Bill, with your comments.
Yeah, John, W8VPV, KA8WTK. Yeah, not much new since 2 meters. We did have one interesting thing happen the other day. I think some deer got tangled up in my one thing out, inflatable outside. It's an inflatable VW bus. It's about 7 feet long and 5 feet wide, and about 5 feet tall, and it has Santa Claus hanging out the window and some reindeer hanging out the back of this VW bus, and it's a cool thing. I like it. I always liked VW buses. I've had a couple of them. Wish I had another one, but long story short, I think a deer got tangled up in it, because I looked out and it was inflated and everything's fine. I looked out later and it was gone, and I go, what's the matter here? I go outside and it's drug across the yard. It's wrapped around a telephone pole. The top of it's all ripped up and everything. I think a deer got tangled up in the cords that hold it in place. So Margaret and I put it back together with some tape that we found at Menards. It's for fixing awnings and pop-up trailers or pop-up pavilion things. The covers on those. And it's out there. It's holding air. So we'll see how long it takes for another deer to get hung up in it. There's been a lot of deer around here. If the guys can't find them hunting, I know where they are. They're in Talmadge. They're hiding here. Anywho, back to net control. W8VPV, K8WTK.
Yeah, okay, Bill. Talking about the VW bus, my Uncle Walter had one This was like, let's see, over 60 years ago. And, let's see, they had, there was he and his wife, and, let's see, they had, I think 6 children. And so they came over he came over our house one day, all of us in that, with all of them in it, and then he picked us up. We were a family of 6, and so we were all in there, and this was like a test run. This was in Crafton, in Pennsylvania there. So he took us for a ride up Route 60 into Robinson Township. That's like a hill. Interstate 79 is there, crosses over that now. And it did okay, with all of us in there. And then down on the corner of Chestnut Boulevard, and I think it's 24th Street, let's see, it's either 24th or 23rd Street, on the, that would be the northwest corner. That guy has one, but the engine went bad in it, so he put in a Subaru engine. So if you go past there on Chestnut Boulevard, look off to your, look toward the northwest corner of either 24th or 23rd Street, you'll see it there. So he gets good use out of that. So that's the story on the VW buses there. So sorry about your Christmas decoration there. So hopefully the tape will hold good enough. So thanks for checking in, Bill, and have a good evening. Okay, this is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor asking for check-ins.
W8KL.
W8KL. Go ahead, Ken. We'll go one at a time here.
Yeah, this is my first 6-meter sideband contact probably in 50 years. I had a TR6 at one time, I believe. I'm using a 30-meter inverted V up at about 36, 38 foot. I've worked on FT8. I've worked several countries, 6 or 7 of them. So I just wanted to see if this thing would work on sideband. I guess it does. You have an excellent signal, and your audio sounds great, John. So back to you, W8VPV. I'm using a Kenwood 890 for my 6 through 160. I have nothing for 160. And I did have an 80-meter antenna at one time, and it kind of frittered away, and I have not replaced it in some years. But I have 40 through 10, and I can use 6 a little bit. I can use 80 with a 30-meter inverted V also. At least on FT8, I can make a few contacts, oddly enough, and I have a tuner here. I can tune it. Back to you, John, W8VPV, W8KL.
Okay, Ken. Your signal over here is a little over S9, and, it's really strong. One of the good signals this evening. So, very good. Thanks for checking in. And there's a new geocache over there in Galt Park. I don't know if you do geocaching, but 2 Ohio bucks put a new one in there. So we were over in that area there, and I didn't have your address, so I didn't know which street to go on to take a look. But maybe some evening we'll be riding around looking at the Christmas decorations, and we'll swing by there. So have a good evening there, and 73. Thanks, Ken. Okay, this is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor asking for check-ins.
Evening, John. Please check in. Whiskey 8 Echo Zulu Tango.
W8 EZT. Go ahead, Frank.
Very good, John. Good hearing RCN Jim in there tonight. He's just down and around the corner from me. Lives on Haas and Steeles, and my sister lives just further down Haas. You go past her every now and then. I've been watching the growth of antennas and everything. Be very curious to see how that works out. And I know there are a lot of hoops and things to jump through. I was thinking of with my new house putting up a 50-foot antenna, and realize how much work there is going beyond 50. But we'll see when we get to that point. Anyway, not a lot to report. I'm about ready to take the trash out for the night. Just finished up dinner, some reheated pizza, and good hearing everybody in there. The exception of Bill, everybody was coming in loud and clear on 6 tonight. So, we'll see what happens then. Anyway, back to you, John. Catch you on at the meeting Wednesday. W8EZT, back to net.
Yeah, okay, Frank. I had a real good copy on everybody. I have that MFJ 1538. Let's see, it's on a 30-foot tower with a 10-foot mast, and so that's good for 6 meters, 2 meters, 220 megahertz band, and 440 megahertz band. So I guess it's up high enough that I have a real good copy on everybody. So very good. Thanks for checking in, 73, and have a good evening. Okay, and we'll see you on Wednesday. Okay, this is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor with John WO3X at the mic asking for check-ins. Let's see, November 8. Okay, Buck. Yeah, go ahead. Okay, Buck, very good. Well, I have a copy on you there. You're above the noise there, so good hearing you there. And I'll probably, if you're checking in tomorrow on the 80-meter Aries net there, I'll hear you. But you might have some activity going on there. So thanks for checking in there, Buck 73, and have a good evening. Okay, let's see, are there any other check-ins for the Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor Band Exploration Net?
Kilo Echo 8 Tango Quebec Romeo, Keith in Uniontown, Ohio.
Oh, Keith, go ahead, Keith, with your comments. This is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor.
Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor, good evening, John. Again, how's my signal, John?
Okay, yeah, very good. Yeah, good to hear you on this band also. So, 73, and have a good evening.
Johnny, one of the signal reports.
Go ahead, Keith. I'll look at the needle.
I just wanted to make sure I was making the trip because my antenna does not have a rotor that turns it because it's on a stationary mast pole, and I just make sure that everyone can hear me, or at least you can hear me.
Okay, let's see, I have an S3 noise level but you're right around S5, so that's the signal report. Over.
Excellent. I just wanted to jump on here tonight since it's the only one I can get on for this month. And I want to wish everyone a happy holiday and a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year coming up. And I hope to talk to everyone next year. So with that, I'll send it back to you, John. Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor. This is KE8TQR 73.
Okay, Keith. Thanks for the holiday wishes, and same back to you. Have a good holiday, and hope to hear you on the air next year there. So thanks, KE8TQR. Thanks. This is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor 73 to you. Okay, this is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor. Are there any more check-ins for the Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor Band Exploration Net?
W8KL for a quick comment.
Go ahead, Ken.
You were 5'9". I didn't know if you gave me a report, but you're 5'9".
I'm 5'9" over your place.
Plus 20.
Oh, okay, yeah. Let's see. Let me look at the needle here. Go ahead.
Okay, W8KL.
Okay, yeah, you're S5 or S9 plus 5 S units.
Okay, thank you very much, John. Your audio sounds great. W8KL.
Okay, yeah, yours too there, Ken. Thanks. Okay, very good. Are there any other check-ins for the Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor Band Exploration Net? Okay, I don't hear any more at this time. This is actually a pretty good quantity of check-ins here. So let's see, on this Wednesday, December 6th, is our Christmas dinner at the New Era Cafe. So if you haven't already done so and you plan to attend, click on the link that on our website. It says register for dinner. And that's on www.cfarc.org. Register for dinner. To let us know, so we can inform the restaurant how many are going to attend, so that they can provide enough servers for us. Okay, so that's December 6th. We'll start gathering there around 6 o'clock, then we'll start ordering around 6:30 off the menu. Okay, let's see. So then, let's see. People that would be on, that can be on this net or listening, that have a technician license. Well, starting January 14th is an online general license class. It runs for 6, and it's free, and it's open to anybody in the world. So again, that's 1:30 Eastern Time, Sunday, January 14th. So go to www.cfarc, click on the word education, and there on the left side it says club classes, and there's the announcement about it, and then there's a link for course information, and then there's a link to register for the class. Okay, let's see, and then January 10th is our first meeting of the year, and it will be more toward activities and maybe some hands-on activities, less on business. So that's how we're going to be doing it in 2024. So that starts on at 7:30 on January 10th, both in person and on Zoom. So in person, we meet at the Pilgrim United Church of Christ, 130 Broad Boulevard is the address, but you get to the parking lot by being on 2nd Street south of Broad Boulevard here in Cuyahoga Falls. Let's see, and so that's all that I have in a way of announcements. So this is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor, last call for check-ins. This is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor, last call for check-ins. Okay, well, I don't hear any in there. Are there any relays? Okay, no relays or check-ins. So in preparing to close this net, I would like to thank all of you who took the time to join us and check in tonight. As mentioned earlier, this band exploration net meets every Monday at 9:30 p.m. Next week, the frequency will be on 10 meters, 28.360 megahertz, upper sideband. Please feel free to check in regularly, even if only for a moment. All comments are welcomed and valuable to us. This has been John, and my call is WO3X, and it's been my pleasure to host this evening's net. At this time, I will close the net and return the frequency to normal, customary amateur radio use. This is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor, closing the net at 10:03 p.m. local time with 10 check-ins counting myself. 7-3.
appetite for remote or hybrid work, more like work balance.
News Talk 580 CFRA. And the watch on for live local breaking news.
The first taking on here with international headlines for Wednesday.
Lawmakers are pushing for an official federal holiday honoring Rosa Parks on December 1st, the anniversary of her arrest. She famously refused to move to the black section in
Virginia. Every year, they have
a goal. Their goal. They have a goal. Would you like to hear it? The former vice president of Pfizer, Dr. Michael Yaden, however you say his name is, he talks about their goal and what exactly they want. Would you like to hear what that is? Tell me if you think this sounds woke. I'll play it for you in just a moment. First, I'm going to give you a free ham. Not just any ham, a 10-pounder.